Hey, welcome back. Thought we might look at Figma Make together. Figma Make being advertised as prompt to prototype kind of a solution very similar to Lovable or v0.dev. So let's have a look together. We will do an honest review. We will probably test a few examples. So looking at the website, the copy is really looking interesting. It's promising quite a lot. If we scroll down, it mentions the ability to copy your designs to Figma Make to help you out with actually building a real prototype. We will have to see if this is a full HTML with auto layout copied to Figma Make, or is this like a screenshot, copy an image situation. So that's the first thing. The other thing that I have noticed here is the fact that you can actually kind of edit contextually, so you can select a div or an element. That's very similar to Lovable or Magic Path, which there is a video on my channel. If you want to have a look, just click on. There's going to be a link somewhere at the top. That's also a very interesting application, and publishing as well is an option here, which is pretty awesome. We'll see how it works with security and so on. I haven't used it before, so it's going to be first time for me as well. And I also see that there is a coming soon integration with Codebase, which is a Postgres database, which I've been using for, I believe, over a year now, which is a very awesome kind of a service, very easy to use as well, which allows you to obviously use it as a regular Postgres database. Codebase also offers authentication, so maybe that is also going to be possible with Figma Make in the future. And in coming soon, we also have a call out to Figma sites. So they're trying to make a connection between Figma Make and Figma sites. So I'm guessing there's going to be some kind of a cycle where you'll be able to go between the two, maybe create a site and then go back to make changes to it and so on. So that could be very powerful. I mean, when it comes to design, it really comes down to iteration, how many times you iterate, where you actually iterate. So, okay, in Figma, to get to the Make application, or I'm not sure how to treat that, if it's a separate application or not. We see all the offerings here at the top. So to get to Make, we just click on Make. And it takes us to Figma Make. Looking at the layout, looks nice and clean, as you would expect from Figma. So it's really nice. Let's have a look, just start from the left, if there's anything worth actually calling out. Files. Okay, so we can kick off a different kind of a type of a file from here. We can save it locally as well, which is pretty awesome. Preferences, there's not much in here so far, at least. Perfect. Okay, standard options as in Figma design. Then we've got our main area where we will prompt. You can expand that as well, which is neat. Sign up flow. Okay, so these are the examples. We will not use those. We will use our own. Down here, we've got paste the Figma frame. So I'm hoping that's going to be the HTML, the auto layout kind of a situation, and not pasting an image, but we'll see. Then we've got an option to attach a design. Very nice. And then attach an image, and then the point and edit. So that's going to be the contextual edits. So selecting a div and then making changes to the div. And it is using Cloud Sonnet 4, which is the latest version from Anthropic, which is probably the best front-end UI LLM. So that's good. So the output, the generation should be really high quality. Unfortunately, you can't change that. It's not clickable. So I wish I could change it to a different model if I'm working on something that doesn't require 4, because it's going to be very expensive. We've got refresh, we've got console. So that opens console where we will probably see error messages. If there are any, that's good. Preview. Code. Okay, so there's already some code. Okay, so we will look at it in a second. Then we've got our full screen option. That's also nice. Settings. In settings, briefly, we've got a page title, meta description. So this is all like HTML information on the website. That's good. Okay, Google Analytics ID, so you can already just copy and paste your ID to track the usage. That's also nice. Custom code as well for the head section and the body section. Not entirely sure who would use that. If you are a designer, you probably don't want to deal with this, but it's good that it's here. Then the domain, so you can actually, I believe you can just stick with Figma's site domain, or you can add your custom domain as well, which is pretty nice. Okay, and then in publish, okay, publish is exactly the same thing when it comes to the domain, and then share looks, and I believe it's going to behave in the same way as the share capability in Figma Design, which makes perfect sense. Those download code, so you can actually download the code. We'll test that. We'll see if it downloads just this page or component, or does it download the entire application. And if it does download the application, we'll see what that application actually is. Anyway, let's go from the bottom maybe. Okay, global CSS. This looks like Tailwind, and then components. Okay, so we've got a folder called Figma, image with fallback. So this is probably the image. Okay, so there's an image here. Interesting. That's okay. And then UI. Okay, this looks familiar. Let's see. Well, this looks, I'm not entirely sure, but it looks like Shadcn. It is using Radix UI here. Not entirely sure if you can tell. It's small, but it says Radix UI, which is the headless component library that Shadcn sits on top of. Radix UI is the headless component library. So these are all components here. We can have a look at the primitives as well. So Radix UI it's actually an awesome headless component library because it's accessibility friendly. It's very easy to style, which Shadcn has done. So Shadcn, in that sense, is not a typical component library as you would expect, like Material UI be. Shadcn uses Radix UI, which is this headless, and they just add logic on top of it and their own styling. That's why I think people love using Shadcn. I do myself. So it is a good choice. I believe that Figma, I think, is using it in Figma Make. I'm not entirely sure why they would actually kind of try and force that in the beginning before you even prompt anything. And if you didn't know somehow about Shadcn, the website is really, really cool. It's really worth looking at their components. They're pretty amazing. You know, they really look very, very good out of the box. You can obviously style that as well by yourself, change the themes and so on. So very powerful, very nice looking as well. And they have recently, I believe yesterday, introduced new calendar component. Where is it? Is it called calendar or date picker? No, it's called calendar. So if we were to go to the blocks library, to the calendar, they have released a crazy number of calendars, which is 30 or even more. And if you ever worked with design system, you know how much not having a calendar or a date picker sucks. So this is awesome. Kudos to the Shadcn UI team and Verso in general to provide us with such components. Obviously, this is all working, so highly recommend. Give it a go. If you're interested, I can do a specific video about Shadcn and actually the Verso's ecosystem because it's also very, very interesting, very powerful. Okay, so I've got this very simple prompt based on the Notions UI, which I'm going to try and build with Figma Make. It just describes in not really much detail, but just kind of gives the LLM an idea what we actually want to build. I'm curious really what is going to come out of this because we have confirmed this is definitely Shadcn components, which is not a bad thing. I just don't understand why it's already here. This should be empty. I'm just kind of interested in seeing what is going to happen if I'm going to prompt and I'm going to specify to use Material UI, if this is going to replace the Shadcn components, or is this going to actually disregard my request and still use Shadcn UI. Okay, let's see how it goes. I'm not gonna, actually maybe I will attach an image. So let me try and grab an image from Notion. I think I've got one here. Yeah. So let's see. So I'm just gonna grab that image, copy it. Okay, first task, can I paste the image? Yes, I can paste the image. Very nice. Well done, Figma. That's awesome. And the artboard option disappeared. So I'm guessing it's gonna just accept images. We'll have to see. We'll do another test with Material UI component later. Okay, and send it off. I think it's okay in general. I think it's pretty accurate, to be honest. If you look at the Notion page here, obviously looks better. Let me actually zoom in a little bit. Obviously looks better. It's polished and so on, but it's not bad. It's not bad really for the first try, first prompt, right? No changes yet. So emojis, it's pretty nice, I would say. The element collapses. You can change the name, I think. Yes, you can, but it's the text is black, so we'll have to change that. That's a minor thing, obviously, a CSS thing, so we can make the change as well. Okay. Start writing or press for commands. I can't really tell. Okay, so add text, add heading. Can't really see what's happening here. That is okay. We can change that. The power of Figma really is the collaboration. And you can see that the live collaboration or the multiplayer is present here as it is in all the other applications that Figma has. So that's cool. It's nice to see that. Okay, looking at the code. Yeah, so I mean, it's using Lucid icons, pretty standard, not a bad choice. Good icons, Shadcn components, perfect Tailwind, obviously. Let's see about the font itself. So it's using Google's font, Roboto Mono. So it followed the instructions. So that's also awesome. It's not bad. I would say it is not bad. We will compare this to actually V0. Let's have a look what V0 is gonna build using the same prompt. We are now in V0, which is Vercel's answer to prompt to UI, which by default also is powered by Shadcn. Use Material UI. Let's see if it follows actually. Figma didn't follow. Figma used Shadcn because it thought that's what I want to use because it's already in my project. Where here, I can't really tell what it is in my project because this is the experience that you are greeted with. So we'll see how this works. I'm going to speed this section up probably. All right, so V0 finished generation. First impressions, it's a little bit different. So this one is V0. This one is Figma Make. Disregard the top bar here. This is from Figma. So this is Figma Make. This is V0. V0 feels a little bit finished, I guess. Like it feels like there's more to it. There's a share button here, comment, star. There's nothing in, oh, look at that. Okay, so there is. It's just the theme is wrong. Okay, so Figma has that as well. It just messed up the CSS. That's fine. We can fix that. All right, so what can we do here? Can we type? I am not able to type. Okay. Yeah, I mean, they're probably on the same level, to be honest, which is quite nice when it comes to Figma Make, because V0 is kind of like your OG, to be honest, when it comes to prompt to UI generation. So yeah, pretty happy so far with what Figma Make has put together as the first prompt. So let's see what else we can do. Let's try Lovable as well. Same prompt, same image, Notion in dark mode. We'll see what comes out of this and how it compares to V0 and Figma Make. Okay, so Lovable finished generation. It is so close to V0. It's really hard to tell a difference. They're so close. we'll compare to Figma, right? So actually, let's check the functionality. What can I do? Okay, so you can actually type, which is pretty nice. You can change the name. Very nice. CSS obviously is correct. We can see the buttons. So anyway, this is Lovable. This is V0, right? It's crazy. I think they all use the same icons and design system. And then this is Figma. I wish it didn't have this bar at the top, but hey, it is what it is. So this is Figma, Lovable, V0. I think I like Lovable the most because of the color scheme, mainly. The fact that it got the CSS correct. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. Figma is still in beta. They are kind of new to this whole ecosystem of prompt to UI. So yeah, just want to be fair, and I think it's in a good place. Not entirely sure I like this. It is not present in Notion. In Notion, this is Notion. In Notion, it looks like this. Figma thought that this is going to be fine. It's obviously not. Lovable didn't even put that in here, which is a shame. Same with V0. So let's check the point and edit functionality, which should allow us to, so it should allow us to select the div element so we can make changes to a specific area. So we'll see what we can do actually. Let's select this. So it shows you that the div is selected. And we will add labels. If I can type, there we go. See what happens. See if it understands that we want labels in the actual button element itself. It should. I mean, it's Claude 4, the most amazing front-end LLM. So let's go. Okay, that didn't take long. There we go. There we go. Very nice. Let's make a change maybe to, let's see if we can. I'm going to select the button element only. Okay, so this is nice. So if you can change the styling, you get this contextual option, which is very similar to kind of it's using Figma's UI. So these contextual options are obviously present in when you are building a Figma plugin. You can use the similar layout and styling as well with similar options, apart from the AI capabilities. Oh, this is nice. Look at this. So you can actually change the text, color. You can change, the alignment. What does this change? Background, corner radius, then padding, and I'm guessing, yeah. So that's gonna just go to the source. But I'm wondering, can we copy this now to, or do I select to? How do I copy these changes to be applied here? I don't want to go to code. I mean, if you are a designer, you don't want to go and look at the code probably. I want to apply this change to this now. How do I do that? How do I do that? Copy, paste. That didn't work. Okay. Okay, just a quick look at the code features that we have. Mainly the download one. I'm very interested to see what happens. We've got, what do we have here? Attribution, markdown file. Okay, so these are just the components. There's no information about the application itself. There's no package.json file. So these are just the components. Is this useful? I'm not entirely sure. I think I would rather just get the entire application being downloaded and then npm that on my local machine and take it from there using Cursor or VS Code. So I think it would be worth actually improving this. Most of the applications like V0, if we go to V0 here quickly, you can actually connect this to GitHub. You can fork it and you can download the application itself. Let's test out a few other features in Figma Make. If you haven't seen my video about Figma's MCP and FrameLink MCP, so going from Figma design artboards using auto layouts to actual code, have a look. There's going to be a video somewhere in one of the corners. It's amazing, not the video, but the technology, the model context protocol. Have a look at it. It's really awesome. Can help with design to development handoff. What I want to see if Figma Make is going to actually accept the auto layouts, HTML from this. I'm going to be using Material UI's screen. This is just a block example. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to copy, as you would normally just copy a URL to this. You would just use copy link to selection. We copy link to selection. I've got a new Make project open. Paste the Figma frame. So I'm trying to paste, nothing happens. Okay, let's see. Copy as SVG doesn't make much sense, but hey, we're here, so we'll try it. Copying as SVG, well, just copies as text as an SVG. That doesn't make sense or doesn't help us. What else? Copy as code. CSS, that's not going to work. Copy as PNG. Okay, so I mean it's not ideal. It is just copying. It is just copying. I'm not sure if you can see it's pixelated, so it just grabs a screenshot of that area. It would really be nice to actually be able to copy the design. I mean, I am in Figma. That's what I would expect. I don't want to work with images. If I have to work with images, I'm just going to probably use V0 or something else if I have access to it. But anyway, let's see what happens if this is going to rebuild this. It's not going to be the same as using an MCP server because it is a new project. So it's going to have, again, Shadcn components predefined. Can we actually delete those? Let's see. No, we're not able to delete anything. So, okay. It is what it is. It has Shadcn components. If I prompt to build this, it's going to use Shadcn. It won't use Material UI, which kind of defeats the purpose of this test. So if you want to rebuild anything and be very precise, use an MCP server. Figma has one, which is pretty awesome. Again, video somewhere at the top. Have a look. Okay, so we will not do that test. It didn't fail, but it's just not worth doing it today. Let's look at these two features here. So this one says attach design. It opens a dialog that allows you to type in a keyword, I'm guessing. So I don't currently have anything in my team. This is just a test account. So if I'm gonna go to community, let's see, photo grid. Okay, so you can try and find components available in the community. Let's have a look at this actually. Preview. Okay, so you can actually find components in the community, but also on your own team, and then attach the design. So it is doing something. It is attaching a design. Is it? So it has the pen tip icon, which suggests that this is a Figma design file. And it doesn't look like one. It looks like an image. Again, it looks like a thumbnail was kind of generated out of that file. But anyway. Okay, so this is what Figma Make has generated out of that Figma design file, which was an image. So, okay, so none of these, I mean, this is all text. These are not actual clickable elements at all. I'm not able to type in anything in here. Text is a text. These don't look like buttons, don't behave like buttons. Let's look at the image just briefly. Okay, so that's the image. There's no white here. So it just assumed that we want white. Could have just made the black div full height. That's fine. Images. The interesting part is it is actually mentioning that the hero section came from the community, and it also mentions by whom it was created. It was created by David Pokorny. So well done, David. You have been featured. If we go to the code itself, no changes here. Still Shadcn. We've got it. 2 imports. 10. That's a very weird name for a file. Okay, so these are all the images. So it got the images. Okay, so it got the images. If it got the images, why wouldn't it got just the, your components from Figma? Figma, you need to do that. I think that is your right to win. That is probably the only one that you have, to be honest. And then this is an SVG. That's cool. Not impressed about this. The Notion thing was pretty awesome compared to V0 and Lovable. Very similar generations. Actually, not surprised because they're probably using the same cloud model anyway. So yeah, hey, this was awesome. I enjoyed it. I think I'm gonna start using it more and more. But before we wrap up, let's talk a little bit about the pricing, or maybe actually Figma's right to win, and what I think where they can actually win. Okay, looking at the pricing section in Figma, there's still no mention about the new tools that were announced recently, which kind of makes sense. There's still some of them are in beta. My take on the pricing as a professional and also someone that has an experience working at an enterprise, I think the pricing is okay for what you're getting today. I know that cloud models actually cost a lot of money. So just thinking where and how that would actually work, like we know that Figma likes adding new applications and obviously charging more and more for them. I get that there is kind of a sentiment that people have currently towards Figma that, that is trying to make as much money as possible. Not entirely sure if that's correct or not. I haven't experienced that, but that's what I get a sense is being talked about. But anyway, I think if Figma somehow consumes the cost of Figma Make in one of these pricing models, like the full seat or dev seat, I think that could work, the Figma Make. But if they start pricing Figma Make and add an additional $20 to it, or £20 or whatever that is, then it's not that appealing to use Make, in my opinion. Not entirely sure that there is a benefit. The only way for me it would work if I could actually pull in Figma designs from Figma Design, respecting grid, respecting auto layout, respecting components that I'm using, and turn those into working prototypes. That's the only way I would probably use Figma Make. Maybe there's a connection between Figma Design, going from Figma Design to Figma Sites, and from Figma Sites to Figma Make, and then iterating between Figma Make and Figma Sites. The problem with that is you want to be iterating in the Figma Design. You don't want to be iterating in the Figma Sites or really in Figma Make. I mean, you can iterate there, but you really want to have the output of that iteration to come back to Figma Design, so you can then go and continue iterating in this kind of a today's way, analog way, with your peers. So if Figma can kind of somehow tie all those together, so it's still the kind of the end result could be a working prototype, but at the same time a Figma design which has all the, again, auto layout, grids, I think that is their right to win. If Figma consumes or digests that price of using Claude Sonnet 4 and the new models that will come out in the future, which will probably get more and more expensive in the future, if they can somehow hide that cost in one of these, that could work. If they would charge us more for it, then you gotta have to ask yourself, would it maybe make more sense to go and actually use something like v0, which has a very good integration with Shadcn. I mean, this is built and managed by the same company, Vercel. Or maybe you want to go and explore other tools like Replit, which gives you way more options. You don't have to be stuck with React or Next.js or frameworks that you might not want to use. Or maybe Firebase Studio is another option, which kind of opens up this whole Google cloud platform ecosystem with all their APIs and the technologies that they have, the AIs and the integration with Gemini in your application. So not entirely sure. That will be my take. Let me know what you think. Let me know what's your actually sentiment towards Figma. I've seen some negative, some positive things, so I'm just kind of curious where it's all coming from. Drop a comment. You liked it, you didn't like it. I want to start kind of adding value with this channel, with this space. So if you want to see something being tested, reviewed, or you want to dive into vibe coding and how to set up cursor or do anything, let me know. Again, I want to bring value. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'm going to see you next time. Thank you.